We'll use a marker to draw onto the latch to give us a mark to drill. Removing this broken pipe is nearly impossible using a wrench or pliers. We can use 2 bolts and a screwdriver to get the job done. We can attach this bolt to this socket to make things easier by drilling. We can use the snap blade to open up old padlocks. We'll bend the blade in half and then cut off one edge on both sides of the blade. Now we can slide the blade between the shackle and the case to pop open the lock. To paint clean and even edges, we can cut the bristles off of this paintbrush at an angle, then screw a plastic card onto the back of one side. This will give us a clean line. We want to make sure to apply Teflon tape to metal fittings. Make sure to wrap clockwise, which is the same direction as the fitting. We can use a drywall knife to better clean up this bucket. Instead of moving the knife up and down, scrape in a circle around the bucket. This axe needs a new handle. Our new handle doesn't quite fit right now. We'll make a few marks along the top of our axe handle. Then we'll make cuts along the marks using a handsaw. Now we can use a couple of balloons to squeeze the handle together. Now we can hammer the handle into the axe head. We'll fill the cuts with glue and some wedges, and then cut off any excess wood. Now we can add a finish to the handle. If we need to remove paint from this roller tray, we can add a few thin layers of paint, letting each one dry in between coats. That will make it easier to pull up the paint in one single layer. When applying mounting tape to this metal frame, we can use a smaller piece of the same frame to line up the tape along the outer side. We can temporarily attach these 2 metal frames together using a couple of screws. We'll first drill our holes, and then we'll make sure to install the screws at about a 45-degree angle. Our next tool that we'll be making is good for connecting 2 metal wires together securely. We'll start by removing the head from this bolt, then drilling a hole through the center. We can use a magnet for any metal dust. Next, we'll use an angle grinder to cut out an indentation in the bolt. Now attach nuts to both sides. We can pass the wires through the hole in the bolt and out through the indentation. Now when we tighten everything together, the wires won't slip. If you happen to run out of caps for your PVC pipes, you can use a straight fitting and a coin that matches the size of your pipe. Next, we'll be using this pipe welding machine to connect the fitting to the pipe. Now the coin will act as a cap. We need to install this T-joint onto this pipe. First, we'll cut the pipe that runs along the wall. We'll use our pipe welding machine again to connect the fitting to the bottom half of our pipe, and then to the pipe that passes through the wall, and lastly, to the top half of the pipe. We can use the handle from this paintbrush to make a DIY paint scraper. Remove the bristles and attach a hinge to the side. Then, place a razor blade between the hinge and tighten it down. Now we can scrape away any leftover paint. To quickly organize this box of nails, just shake the box back and forth. The nails will sort themselves. By fastening these 4 zip ties around the middle of the paintbrush, and then cutting off the ends, the zip ties will act like a stand. Next, we'll be making a sanding drum bit for our jigsaw. We'll start by gluing an old jigsaw blade into the center of this dowel. Then we'll wrap double-sided tape around the dowel to hold the sandpaper in place. We can use an additional piece of tape on both ends for extra support. This bit will help us sand hard-to-reach places. Here's how we can form this angle bar to 90 degrees. We'll start by cutting out a right angle on one edge. Then, we'll shave off some metal so that it's easier to bend. Now, we'll place a small bracket on the joint for support. Drill 2 holes. We can collect all the metal dust with a magnet and a plastic bag. Now, just drill in the screws and then double check the angle. Our next project will be to make a cog-shaped wooden handle. We'll start by marking out a circle with a hole saw. Then, we'll make 6 equally spaced marks around the circle. Drill a hole at each of the 6 marks. We can use a fan from our drill to blow away any sawdust that's in the way. Finish cutting out the circle with the hole saw bit. We'll then attach a bolt, a washer, and a nut to the center of the cog and attach it to our drill. This will make it easier to sand the outer edges. Apply varnish after sanding. Now, we can easily tighten and loosen this with our bare hands. Here we have a small piece of plywood that will cut into 3 separate pieces, 1 rectangle and 2 triangles. We'll screw the triangles onto the rectangle to make a stand. Now we can use the stand to hold up large sheets of plywood. To ensure that we mark the same angle every time with our speed square, we can attach a bolt to the gap in the speed square to lock in the angle. Now when we tighten down the bolt, we can be sure that we're making the same angle every time. Next, we'll be making a modification to our tri-square so that it can help us mark out 60-degree angles. Mark out a 60-degree angle on the handle, and then use a hacksaw and a file to file down the edges. Now our tri-square can mark 90, 45, and 60-degree angles. To join these 2 pieces of wood together, we'll be using a marking gauge to cut out a lap joint. We'll mark out the exact length and width on both joints. It should look similar to a mortise and tenon joint. After cutting out where we marked, the 2 joints should fit together like so. After joining the pieces together, we'll mark out a square. Then drill holes into the corners. This is where the dowels will be inserted. Here, we're using a metal dowel, so we use a hacksaw to saw it flush. We'll sand it down and add some varnish.